Did you know the IRS just hired more than 50,000 new agents? Most of these agents specialize in collections and are mandated to audit small businesses and increase collections on individuals. IRS notices can be intimidating, but waiting to act could cost you your valuable taxpayer rights. Don't try to handle the IRS alone. These agents are trained to trap you into agreements designed to collect as much money as possible. Don't pay thousands of dollars to a marketing company claiming to be a tax resolution firm. Get behind the shield. The enrolled agents at Elite 8 Tax and Financial Services are experts at tax resolution, protecting taxpayers' rights, and are federally licensed to represent taxpayers before the IRS. Elite 8 Tax and Financial Services has the knowledge, skill, and experience to assist you with audit representation, liens, levies, offers and compromise, innocent spouse relief, wage garnishment, back taxes, and more. Don't lose sleep, time, or your rights as a taxpayer. Make your appointment today at elite8financial.com to schedule a consultation and get the IRS off your back. Get behind the shield. From exotic luxury vacations to dream weddings, theme parties to family reunion cruises, corporate travel to corporate team building events, Destinations and Occasions is your premier concierge travel and event planner. Take the stress out of planning and arranging your events and travel. Call us today at 510-459-7732 or visit us on the web at destinationsandoccasions.com. Destinations and Occasions. Details is what we do.
This is Dr. Tamia Guest with Rejuvenating Chiropractic.
This is Nara Reed with Modified Nutrition Health Coach.
This is Karen Marcel with June Street Barbershop.
This is Tiffany Marcel with Marcel Luxury Realty, and you're listening to Boss Talk Radio.
Welcome to Boss Talk Radio, the #1 online business and entrepreneurial talk show. Brought to you by Elite 8 Tax and Financial Services.
Boss Talk Radio, keeping it real, yeah, that's for sure. I said a Boss Talk Radio, here for your needs, we'll crack the code. He the boss.
He gon' fix your situation like there ain't no time for wasting. We ain't playing when we saying
he the boss.
And if you ever have a problem, he gon' show you how to solve it. Listen in and he'll show you he the boss.
Talk
Here's your host, the sexy tax expert, George Dandridge.
Talk Radio, here for your needs, we'll crack the code. He the boss.
Welcome to Boss Talk Radio, family. This is January 4th, 2022, but you're going to see this on January 25th January 5th, because it is late in the evening, but I felt compelled to come to you guys and share this with you. So first things first, share the video. Second thing is make sure you give StreamYard permission to use your name so we can shout you out in the replay. And if you're watching this on the replay, which most of you will be, whether it be YouTube, whether it be Facebook, LinkedIn, etc., go ahead and comment where you are, where you're coming from, and what it is you do, because we like to embrace our audience and give you your proper credit. So go ahead, and we have what's coming to you today. We haven't done this in a while. Business has been off the chain. We have our new co-host and everything. And so everything has been cracking. So if you're following this on the replay, you can go ahead and skip to about the 5-minute mark where you can go ahead and get the content. But I am your host, George Dandridge. I'm an enrolled agent. What I do aside of solving tax problems is save a bunch of money on people's taxes. In addition to that, but Boss Talk Radio, Business Operation Success Show, is based on strategies and bringing you entrepreneurs across different spectrums to really show you guys what entrepreneurship looks like, that process and the way to success, and to keep you guys encouraged. So what we're going to do today, though, we haven't done in a while, and that's our term of the week, and we'll hit you with that right after this. So on today's episode with the term of the week, this one hit home. It's something I learned many years ago, and it's largely a reason why a lot of startups, why a lot of people who aren't pure-hearted, they're not successful in business because you guys struggle to see the value of a relationship or an opportunity outside of a dollar. And hey, I'm all about know your worth, charge accordingly, blah blah blah. There's a place for that. But there's also a place where if you realize that you didn't represent your best self, you weren't hitting on all cylinders, and you allowed something to slip through the cracks. And as a result, you can correct it and charge your your worth for what you're supposed to charge or whatever. But you can also, based on that relationship or that opportunity, take a step back and say, maybe I need to charge this one to the game for the benefit of something else. What are you talking about, George? Well, the term of the week is reciprocal altruism. Now, you've heard me talk about this before. And, I think when I talked about it before, I didn't really it was coming from a pure place of, just wanting to educate you guys, whatever the case may be. This one hit home. And so I have an opportunity to give you an example based on two places that I spent money recently where one person made a mistake and they let it be known, hey, I made a mistake, this is that, or whatever. And they were like, but you know what? I made the mistake and I'll go ahead and accept, what we discussed or whatever on my mistake. And as a result, not only did they get the money, get the bag for me or whatever, to me, that represented integrity because they were able to communicate their value, communicate their mistake, accept responsibility for it, and press forward, absorbing the cost of their mistake. But as a result, what ends up happening is they get the bag, they get it sooner, and they were blessed by having me as a client because of my connections and my influence to promote their business. Flip the script. I had another situation, same type of thing where, all right, this was communicated. And then there was some add-on or whatever that was chosen by me. And there was a quote to that add-on. Well, then when it was time to finalize the details after everything was agreed on, they tried to pack in some extra money, with terms or logic rather that they could not substantiate. Let me explain. There's a lot of things I don't do, but what I do is numbers all day long. Some people like, hey, I'm not good at math. For me, it's second nature, not so much math as it is money. I will break down a dollar to a penny in any given scenario when it comes to business. Always, it's my gift. And so what happened was, as my girl D Bowden say, what had happened was I get this original quote. I put the quote out to several people or whatever, and put the bid out to several people. I get this quote that I agree with. Not the most proficient person, but in conjunction with having a fair price, I also wanted to bless them with business because they're in, for lack of better words, parameter for me to see and kind of see some of the things going on with them. So I wanted to bless them, you know. But here was the thing. Any of you that's married, you know, when it comes to things like new furniture, decorating, home improvements, or whatever, you know, hey, you can have an opinion on that thing, but you better make sure the missus has the, you know, the ultimate, you know, feel good about that situation or whatever. So in doing that, I totally overlooked something, and then it was opportunity, you know, for this person to make some more money. And it's like, hey, they quoted me a price or whatever. And then when it came time to, you know, pick like colors, whatever, then they tried to go up on the price, and their logic was based on additional colors, same amount of space, additional colors, but they couldn't communicate that value. And so me, of course, I broke it down as to, okay, you're charging me this price for this thing that was already going to be in the original bid, right? And then to top that off, you're telling me is because, well, when you buy in bulk, I'm like, okay, but here's the thing. Based on your original bid, we're still using all the same original colors. You're just buying less of this one and more of this one. They attempted to explain some things about, you know, setup and work and this and that and the other. And it may have been somewhat valid, but at that point, here was the thing. I'm like, make it make sense, because understand this. This is the try you out project. You've already given me a quote on another project that I'm going to be doing in less than 2 months. And I'm telling you, I have at least 4 other projects that I'm going to get done in 2022. So in the grand scheme of things, you're able to put tens of thousands of dollars in your pocket. There's an old school saying that says, how did this go? Step over $1 to pick up a nickel. This is how this thing went, you know. And so I thought about it after the fact, because I was a little heated and, you know, sad for them. They did 2 things, and unfortunately I warned them, you know, but this is where all of this kind of kicks in. So some of you are new in business. You haven't felt your way through everything or whatever. And you make the mistake of allowing whatever pressure you're feeling, whatever bill you have right now, because your business hasn't gotten to the point where it's even sustaining itself, let alone you. And you will kick opportunity in the nuts to get through this next month. And that's a problem where you lack vision, you know. So there is a time to do something different, you know, and you have to recognize when that happens. So we're going to go ahead and get into that term of the week. And so here's what it is with that. I didn't want to just go into the whole term. I wanted to break this thing down to you. So the term for the week is reciprocal altruism, right? And so first, we're going to take the first part of that word. We're going to talk about what it is to have reciprocity, or what it means to be reciprocal. That simply describes something that's the same on both sides. Not a whole lot of complication to that. And that's what's really crazy about when you're dealing with things in business. You're looking for a basic, simple reciprocity at whatever level, whether it's a vendor, a consumer, whatever the case may be. You're looking for a basic understanding of reciprocity. And so let's talk about altruism. Altruism is the unselfish concern for other people. The unselfish concern for other people. And this means doing things simply out of a desire to help, not because you feel obligated, out of a duty or a loyalty or religious reasons, but you simply have a desire to help. If you've been around me, if you're in my close circle, you've heard me talk about this movie. There's this documentary on Netflix called The Black Godfather, not to be confused with the 70s exploitation film. It's called The Black Godfather, and it's about Clarence Avant. And I was amazed by this documentary because there were some things that took place before my existence on planet Earth. But since my arrival, all of the historic things in America that I can recall in my lifetime, this man's hand was, up under Mona Lisa's skirt dealing with that situation. And despite all the industries I've worked in, despite all the connections I had, despite the money I made, et cetera, I hadn't heard of this guy before this. And he's like Quincy Jones' best friend or whatever. It was like crazy. I was like, wow. And I've watched it like 3 or 4 times. I really love this movie. So, but let's tie this all in together. So we had reciprocal. That simply meant things are equal on both sides. We had altruism, meaning that it's an unselfish concern for other people, just doing things simply out of a desire to help. Let's tie them together. We have reciprocal altruism. Reciprocal altruism. This is when altruistic behavior is performed because the increased likelihood of repayment in the future. That might have confused some of y'all, so I'm going to say it in more layman's terms. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. Now, that doesn't mean you go bankrupt for somebody, or whatever. You don't put yourself completely in the hole to accommodate somebody. But in business, you have to understand that the value you give is not always in your service. It's not always in your knowledge or the sharing of your knowledge. Sometimes the value you give is just saying, okay, we'll fall back here and take some more here. So, to get more here rather. And so let's use the case of that first person where, they literally, it was a situation where a gram was miscommunicated or whatever. And they just said, hey, you know what? I realize this is my mistake or whatever, even though all of this other stuff don't really matter. This was on me or whatever. I fall back. I accept that. It resulted in accelerated payments. And then it also resulted in them being able to be on Boss Talk Radio, but then also me being able to adamantly refer them as a qualified and integrable individual and integrable business or whatever. And I was subsequently comfortably able to refer people to her. And it resulted in her having 4 additional clients from direct referrals to me. I won't ever know about the indirect referrals of, evergreen shows or whatever, but directly 4 referrals came from me that basically resulted in an additional 30 grand in their bottom line. Now here on this other side, I had someone who made a similar mistake or whatever. And it was like, hey, I accepted this few $100s above the quote because I wanted to add this in. You said it was this. It's like, all right, good. I'm good with that. And then at the end of the day, when it was all said and done, you tried to pack on another couple $100. And let's be clear, it's not even about the money at that point. It's about the integrity of the business or whatever. Now, I hadn't already made a deposit or whatever, so I ain't about to get into the whole, well, give me money back out of that. I ain't getting into all of that. It's one of those things where it's like, you know what I want that we discussed, and what you're telling me you're willing to do for what we discussed doesn't line up. But instead of doing any of that, I'm going to just go with the original quote. I won't get everything I want or whatever in this equation, but for me, it's principle, because it's like I could just say, hey, yeah, now, go ahead and give me my money back that I made the deposit with, or most of it, because granted, you did invest a couple hours at this point, or a few hours at this point, or whatever, but you ain't made no material purchases or whatever. I could be on some just give me my money back and I'll use somebody else, in my ecosystem or whatever. I'm trying to add you to the ecosystem. And here's what's crazy. For ultimately what came down to $200, let's put this in perspective. On any given weekend, I'm going to either drink or smoke $200 or take my girl out to dinner and eat $200. Like, that is not even about the money. It was about that last second effort to try to pack on a couple $100 and me telling you, okay, here's where we're at. If you want to do this, then I'm going to go ahead and do it, but I won't give you any of these other projects, including one you've already given me a bid for, and the 4 other ones that's all lined up to take place in the next 7 to 8 months. So in the grand scheme of things, we literally driving tens of thousands of dollars into your pocket in the course of 2022, and you're willing to forgo that for $200. What makes it worse is that here's what's really crazy. Y'all ready for this? Here's what's really crazy. Not only did you not value my ongoing, what we call in my industry, an ongoing concern. Not only did you not value my ongoing concern above your current immediate need, you also did not recognize the value that you would get just being in my ecosystem. If you've been around myself and Sharita or whatever, we always talk about the ecosystem, right? And so the thing is that here's where that becomes real, right? You have a service. I can refer you to other people if you do quality work, right? But that's one part. Here's the other side of it. You're watching Boss Talk Radio, Business Operations Success Suite, Success Show. And then the products is actually called Business Operations Success Suite, which includes business operation success strategies. In our first meeting, the first thing you told me was that you have tax problems. Guess what I do? I solve tax problems. You probably can't afford me. But if you were in the ecosystem, now one of the things I don't do, and I'm not telling y'all not to do it because it's a great thing when it balances out or whatever, but I'm a firm believer that documentation beats conversation. So I don't do the barter thing anymore. I've tried it in the past or whatever. I'd rather not. For me, it's as simple as, hey, I'm gonna pay you for your shit, you pay me for my shit. Ain't no room for no misunderstandings, no misinterpretations or whatever, and we solid. So and I'm the type of person, like, hey, I'm gonna ask you for a price or whatever, And if your price fits my budget, I'm not gonna try to discount you or negotiate or whatever your price is. That's your price. I'm gonna pay it and let's get it going. If it's above my budget and I can't afford you at the moment, I got the price or whatever. Now I know, okay, let's make a couple moves, boom, boom, put this in place. Now let's go ahead and do the business. But I'm not going to try to get you to change the price. But anyway, you got tax problems, right? And so I solve tax problems. And on top of that, not only do you have tax problems, your business is in the incubator stage. You have all kind of you have a need for coaching and processing and all kinds of stuff like that, and I'm in a position of knowledge and whatnot to help you. Now let's put it in perspective. Between your tax problems and your need for coaching, the cost of that, if you were not in my ecosystem, would be far more than the projects that I'm going to pay you for, right? So now you're in position to get the best of both worlds because of your proximity to me. You not only get to get this money from me, but you're also able to take advantage of my knowledge and experience at times where it's not, documented on. I'm like, there's some things like, hey, solve tax problems, I'm going to charge you for that, but you get the benefit of, coming by the crib and, just sitting and while I'm smoking my cigar outside or whatever. And I just, as the words of E40, just sprinkle you with some game, it ain't going to cost me nothing at that point. I'm doing what I'm doing. And you just sucking up space, opportunity, and knowledge, but there's really people out there that cannot accept that amount of value because they don't conduct business properly. So their lifestyle or life circumstances has put them in such a place that they're in a dire need for $200. And I want y'all to just think about this for a minute. Like, first and foremost, before you decide you want to go in business, you have to understand that there will be times where the program, the profit margin, the things you have in place doesn't quite go the way it was supposed to go. And you may have to eat away at your profit, if not take a loss, for the purpose of maintaining a relationship or serving a client. Now, I'm not telling you that the customer is always right. What I am telling you is assess the value of the customer, your one-offs versus your lifetimes. Because everybody has a cycle, a customer cycle, You got to be able to assess those things, right? And in doing that, you will make better decisions, because, hey, if today you need $200 and you need it so bad that you cannot, first and foremost, you need so bad that you're willing to forego thousands of dollars of revenue and thousands of dollars more in training, knowledge, tax assistance, and business procedures. Like, you literally stepped over $100 bill to pick up a penny, in the grand scheme of things. Wow. And what's crazy about that is in 2022, I'm sorry, hey, maybe if you're 50, you may not know how to do it, but in 2022, if you're under 35 years old and you can't generate $200 basically out of thin air across the internet or whatever other means that were traditional, maybe you shouldn't be breathing. Did he really just say that? He said you shouldn't be breathing. I mean, we're talking about 8 quarters, eight $25, situations or whatever. If you cannot generate that in the course of a day, or two at the most, then you need a paradigm shift. You need that coaching. So here's what I'm going to do for you guys. We have on the screen, scrolling at the bottom, one of my coaching sessions. Elite8financial.com/boss-up/. I want you to go there, and if you are a person who is in business and or about to start business and or have some tax issues that you just need some coaching on, this is one of them things you kind of, feel like you're on the edge there. Like a lot of people miss the sales processes, a lot of people missing procedures to get a prospect into a sale or whatever. I'm a 20-year plus sales trainer. I was doing sales when I was 15. I've managed and trained in Fortune 500 companies for decades. This is what I do. That was what I did before taxes. I can help you with that. Go to elite8financial.com/boss-up/ and take advantage of the single session. Now, if you've been following me for a while and you already know the value that I'm coming with or what have you, then yeah, you can go ahead and sign up for the 3-month program or the 1-year program. There's finance options available for that. It's under elite8financial.com/boss coaching or what have you. And we can really get this thing cracking and take your business to a whole nother level. Now, let me just go on and say that if you're looking for sales funnels and quick flicks and this, that, and the third, I'm not your guy. That's not what I do. I can refer you to people that do that. What I do is give you solid foundation principles and actionable steps and measurable benchmarks to put in your business that's duplicatable, where you can train others on it and take yourself from a solopreneur or self-employed to business owner to actually being the entrepreneur that you set out to be. elite8financial.com/boss-up/. Take advantage of this session, because guess what? The price is going to go up. Matter of fact, what I'm going to do is, if you book a coaching session, if you use that link and do a coaching session within, we'll say 72 hours from the time this video is posted, I'm going to give you 15% off. 15% off to take advantage in that window to go ahead and schedule your coaching session. Now, I had somebody in the inbox the other day. Well, when I say the other day, this was actually last year. This was like 2 weeks ago. He saw an ad or whatever somewhere in a group. He saw me. He's like, well, what exactly does your coaching session do? And he wanted to have this long discussion about, well, to shorten it up, basically, he wanted to qualify me or make me sell myself to him as a reason why he should hire me for a coaching session. No, because I got what we call receipts. You can go to the YouTube channel and look at not only all of the videos with all the knowledge that I bring, but you can also see all of the guests that I bring and the power that they bring. What if I told you about half the guests are actually clients? Wow. And when you understand how powerful they are, you understand that you're getting a hell of a deal. Elite8financial.com/boss-up/. Go ahead, book your session. If you book your session within 72 hours of the time that I post this video, I will give you 15% off. And not only that, I'm going to give you, I can do that. I'm going to give you twice the time. This session is for 90 minutes. I'm going to give you 2 90-minute sessions. Who does this benefit? Anybody that is about to go into business or that is already in business and they're within those first couple of years and they're trying to transition in, or you have a hell of a product, a hell of a service, and you don't know how to communicate your value, and so you're either undercutting yourself in price or you're undercutting your clients in service. Get behind the shield.
Boss Talk Radio, keeping it real, yeah, that's for sure. I said a Boss Talk Radio, here for your needs, we'll crack the code. He the boss, ooh, he the boss, ooh, he the boss, he's the boss, he the boss, he the boss.